Welcome back to LookRecap. Today I'm going to describe the 2021 short film Curve. At the beginning of the film, we see a clip of a woman who is unresponsive and lying on a concrete floor. Despite having a bloody finger and crimson, dried blood on her shoes, she appears to be quite unharmed given the circumstances. In parallel, videos of large waves slamming on the shore are presented. The collision creates a terrible roaring sound that reverberates across the area. The loudness causes this woman to wake up. She was only able to experience bewilderment. She was in a difficult situation for the first time. She was on the edge of an arcing structure, and this was unknown below. If she made one wrong move and fell off the edge, there was only one way to die. The position she was in did not help her because her left leg was folded under her body and there was no way to extend it. When the woman first saw the edge, she was terrified and she tried to move. However, this movement did not help except to slide. She hadn't fallen yet, but it was clear that it was only a matter of time. Her left leg was working against her. In addition, her palms were scraped by the rough, hard concrete, and she was breathing heavily, silently praying for her life, even though her chances of survival were nil. We get a full view of the structure, in which she is trapped, which appears to be a hydroelectric plant. Even if she manages to stay away from the edge, the upright wall behind her does not allow her to escape. But at the moment this wall is the least of her worries. Just as she cursed the situation, a loud horn blew in the void below, a sound that startled her and made her fall all the more terrifying. The woman thought the sound must be because of the wind, and her fear eased slightly until she heard a louder roar, and a few seconds later, the woman looked up at the sky in frustration and let out a scream. Then everything became deathly silent, the only one being her. Her rapid breathing and the thoughts in her head told her to stay alive. She lifted her right hand and separated the two fingers that were stuck together, following which she drove the blood away from her jacket so that her palm wouldn't slip as she tried to go up again. And even the drying process was horribly painful, after which she blew into the wound, eager for a little relief. Her blowing was weak because she was afraid of making the wrong move. Yes, this would push her to her death. After waiting for quite a long time, she finally lifted her uninjured leg. As she painfully lifted her body, her bloody palm pushed down the curve of the concrete again. Fortunately, this time the plan worked and she made a centimeter of progress. Relieved, the woman continued to breathe longer and calmer, her palms now almost painless. She still put them up one by one and blew on them. She made similar movements again without much thought and eventually rose further. She looked at her palm and then at the bloodstain and began to breathe heavily. In attempting to climb again, she soon met with haphazard consequences as she slid down a little. And while everyone else in her position had given up, she bravely put her palm up, blew on it, and prepared to push herself up once more. In just a second, she slipped a few more centimeters. Screams echoed in the background, a sound the woman likened to her death, the darkness below calling to her. Now that her palms were destroyed and she had hardly any skin to scrape off, and God help her, it soon began to rain heavily, adding to her problems, rain that could kill her faster to end her suffering. Either way, for the first few seconds she enjoyed the feeling of the raindrops hitting her face, and even for a brief moment she felt at peace, almost as if the curve was her home and she had lived there from the beginning. But her contentment didn't last long, and as she slid down, she closes her eyes and clenches her teeth, still filled with the desire to survive. She lets out a scream that is no match for the thunder. Then she remembers that the necklace might help her stay on the curve longer. She grabs it and pulls it off her neck. We see her hand slowly slide down, even with the chain on, and it's not clear if she survived the event. Side by side, this short film is great in every sense because it triggers the viewer's primal human instincts. It is something from a nightmare that makes people aware of fears they didn't know they had. That's it for today. I hope you enjoyed it and click the like and subscribe buttons to help us out. See you later.